So I'm recording another recording on the topic of the April 8th solar eclipse. So, man, I'm telling you, this was not an eclipse. This was not an eclipse. I mean, yeah, it was, but it wasn't only an eclipse. This was, I believe this was a moment which might, the last time something like this energetically, significantly, and from so many perspectives that it just becomes unspeakable happened. I would say probably just the let's say the internal feeling of a number, the internal feeling of a date, although I have no data to back this up. I can feel like, you know, that period of 25,000 years, you know, 25,000 is like 25000. There is that somehow this figure is like, I don't know if this is a cosmic age or something, but this is how it feels. Like what happened on April the 8th, it was like something like you not only that you don't get to experience in one lifetime or in a cycle like a 1000 2000 years. It's just it was the changing of an entire thing. And I have so many, like, I have so many sensations and insights about it. Like, first of all, I feel like so much has happened in the sky at that moment of the eclipse. So many forces came together in the heavens, in the sky, let's say. And I feel like not only that these celestial spirits, these planets or whatever they are, came together, like even physically, we've seen them on the astrological and astronomical charts. So many heavenly bodies were astrologically in the same hemisphere of the sky. Then you had the Devil's Comet, then you have Chiron conjuncting with the Sun and the Moon, creating the eclipse together, the Trinity unifying in the sky. Then you have Chiron creating a second just incredible rare conjunction with the Sun. Only the Chiron and the Sun entering into the heart of the Sun, creating this, what it's called, like a Kazimi conjunction, which a Kazimi conjunction, it's when a planet or a celestial body approaches the Sun, like enters into, like, really close to the Sun, so much so that it gets engulfed in the way, in the power and aurora of the Sun. It becomes one with the Sun. And this is what happened with Chiron precisely 1 hour before the eclipse. So 1 hour before the totality, let's say total solar eclipse, in some areas depending on where the totality, where one was. But I remember I was looking, I don't know for what area, but I remember that 1 hour before totality, Chiron entered into the heart of the Sun, became one with the Sun, creating this powerful Chiron Kazimi with the Sun conjunction. So that happened, and then the freaking eclipse happened, where all the Sun, Moon, and Chiron perfectly aligned, of course, with the Earth. So you had the four Trinity, and then you have the four elements in a way. And not only that, because just right now I feel like, oh my god, it felt like, you know, so many, let's say, how can I call them without sounding new age-ish? How can I call this? Like, I'll just say it exactly how I felt. It's like so many, you know, this type of like advanced, really advanced, high spiritualized beings, which might not even be from necessarily here in this physical body. Like, you know how I've heard those concepts of the ascended masters or whatever, although I have a completely different view of what this might be. But I feel right now like, oh my god, so many of these high spiritual beings added their energy in that precise moment. You know, it's just unbelievable what happened on that precise moment of the eclipse. Just so many forces came together and unified their powers in one single act. It's like unbelievable. Like the world is never gonna be the same again. Never. Because as we are about to see, we've entered into something completely different. It's like I literally can feel that we've entered, not only that in a different universe, it's like we've entered into a different physics of reality. It's like, expect the law of physics to change. Really, expect the laws of physics to change. This is the magnitude of what I'm feeling. It's like we've entered into a different experience of reality, which soon enough, I believe, is going to have almost nothing to do with what has been experienced by generations upon generations upon generations of whatever, human, animals, plants. It's like whatever that was, that mad, insane experience that we've all experienced in the past, it's done. But it's so strange, because it's almost like it's so done that it feels like it never happened. This is the sensation that I have. It's almost like it's so done, it's so completed, but it feels like, but it never happened. You know, it's so done that it feels like it never happened. This is how done it is. And I know how insane I sound with saying all of this. I know, because nothing in the concrete, visible, physical reality is here yet to demonstrate this. But I'm just saying what I feel, man. What it definitely feels within. Definitely. So it's like, expect the laws of physics to change. Expect things to get really, really, really different. In a sort of more and more natural way, by the way. It's like, expect things to get different, but more natural, more familiar, yeah, more normalized, more naturalized, for sure, for sure. Like, this was the moment, like, this was a marriage in the sky. So it was the marriage in the sky, and now it's like the marriage has officially happened. It's like we are, whatever that was before, it's done. It's the marriage in the sky, a new vision, and a new, let's say, the earth itself, let's say, which was, let's say, the bride, was birthed. It was a new birth. She gave birth. It's a completely different reality. We have a different reality here on earth that is just going to unfold. It's like, there's nothing from the old, let's say, experience that is even gonna make sense soon enough. It's like, the way it feels for me internally since April the 8th, since I woke up in the morning of April the 9th, it's like I felt so different that I felt like, oh my god, it's like, I felt almost like I was on psychedelics, but without the visuals, you know? Psychedelics without the visuals, although they were a bit, you know, the wobbly reality was already a bit visually, and it still is. But for me, it is like this since a longer time. But it was exactly like being on psychedelics, but without the drugs. And I remember in the moment when the eclipse was happening in USA, here in Romania it was like 9:30 p.m. It was dark, completely dark, new moon, so completely dark sky. And I went outside and I stayed there. There is a meadow here and the trees, and I was seeing the black sky with full of stars, because of course it's new moon and it's so black, the sky, and you can see the contours, you know, of the trees still a bit in the sky, and it was like a magnificent feeling overall. I couldn't explain, and I just went into internally, you know. I went internally, and oh my god, man, it felt like being on psychedelics. And I knew the eclipse was happening on the other side of the earth, let's say, on whatever. Ah, man, and it felt like psychedelic, really psychedelic. And then I woke up the next morning and it still felt like that, and just this feeling of love, true pure love, pure love. My heart felt like I felt scared. I felt scared of the enormity, the immensity of what it was. I didn't know how to control it at first. The first few 4 or 5 days after, I didn't know what to do with this new state. I still learn how to be in it because it's here right now, and it changes me completely. I feel like I'm changed day by day, second by second. I feel completely changed. And I feel something which I also feel to add. I feel this will sound really strange, really wacko, really mad, really insane, but here it is. I feel that at the same time the world became more unreal and real at the same time. I feel the distinction between the illusion and the real has been completely, let's say, strengthened, and it's like so many things and so many I don't know if I even should say this. Like, I was looking on some YouTube videos covering the eclipse, and I was looking at the people there, some of these more popular, you know, type of videos of the eclipse, like this type of bombastic, you know, and popular, and I was looking man at them, and I was seeing like phantoms. It was clear that they were holograms. I almost feel like having this internal sense of tears in my eyes, because I was looking at those videos and I could see how those people weren't real. I don't know how to describe what I was seeing, but it's like seeing through a glass. I was seeing through them, and they felt like holograms. Literally empty images. Just talking images and moving images, but nothing more than that. And of course, I had the idea that the world is a simulation and all of this stuff way for, who knows, maybe even 20 years, you know, but it's one to have the idea, even it's one thing to have your own idea and your own, let's say, intuitions and internal experience and internal knowledge about this, but then to somehow almost see with your eyes and experience much more viscerally and physically the experience of what that truly means is a completely different thing. And this is something which I started to experience since April the 9th onward. It's just, the way I can describe it is like I'm looking at the physical reality around me, especially things created by humans. So if I'm looking at something created by humans, I don't know, look, for example, I'm looking at the house here. So when I look at this portion of cement or whatever, it's like, I don't know how to explain, but I'm seeing like I'm looking at a cartoon. It's like, I don't know how to explain. It's like almost, not necessarily, I don't know how to explain it. It's like physically, it's like layers. It's almost like pulsating. It's like the house is pulsing. It's like woof, 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 and I can see it like a animation, like a cartoon. But when I look at nature, nature feels much more real. It's not pulsing, but the house is pulsing. It's like woof, 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 woof. It's like frames. The house appears like frames. But nature, no. Nature, although the appearance of it is an illusion, nature has something in it. So when I see trees, I don't get that feeling of frames. Although I can see that, for example, there is an appearance. Nature also is an illusion, but it has something in it behind the illusion. But the house has nothing in it behind the illusion. It just frames. So and this is what I started to see in this YouTube video. So I was looking at this popular, like I remember seeing a video which was covering the eclipse with many people, apparently many people, covering the eclipse, being there to watch the eclipse, and I was looking at them and it's like I was seeing frames. I was seeing empty nothing. But it's not that I was thinking, I was seeing. It's like, but not, see, it's difficult to describe because it's not necessarily like they became transparent and I could see what's behind them, you know, it's physically, it's just, yeah, I guess this is the only way I could describe it is like, this is the feeling of the heart. When the heart sense starts activating and you're seeing with the heart, like, you have the perception of the eyes, the physical eyes, but then you have another perception within you which starts to combine with the eyes, and then you can see the layer of physicality, but you can also see with your heart, and your heart shows you like, oh, that's nothing there. It's like a cartoon, you know, it's like frames, it's like a hologram, but literally, like you can literally sense it now. It's not that you can mentally conceptualize it, oh, the world is a simulation, and no, you can actually experience it now. And you look and it's like, I'm still adjusting to it. I'm still adjusting. I don't know what to do with it right now. I'm adjusting. But nature, when I look at nature, I also feel to add this in because it's just on my mind, and why not? Let me just add it now. So when I look at nature, as I said, nature also feels like it's a hologram of sorts. But it's, first of all, what I feel is like it's an ancient hologram. So it has a different level of technology to its holographic tech, let's say, than what has been created by human hands. So nature, although it is a hologram, it's an ancient and more, let's say, organic version of hologram. But when I look at the house, as I said, I see this cartoonish, almost shell-like nothing. It's nothing there. Nothing there. So something is very ancient about nature. It's something, an ancient holographic reality. Really ancient. But these new things, these buildings and whatever humanity is producing right now, it's like a really cheap, new, but really, really cheap holographic technology which has no substance to it, nothing, no way. Nature is different. Nature is a different type of holographic technology. Okay, so the idea, I think, to conclude with this video is like, I feel what happened on April the 8th was marriage in the sky. The archetypal mother, the archetypal father came together, and then the archetypal, let's say, son and the archetypal daughter came together. The son married the daughter, and somehow mother, father and son created the Trinity and created together a new vision for Earth, a new destiny for Earth, Earth being the daughter. And now this Earth, the daughter, has been granted a new life. She gave birth to her new self. And this is already a completely different way of living and being. And It's like our entire senses are now getting adjusted, and I believe this is the life and the reality of the heart. Like I feel that it's gonna become more and more obvious from now on what is real and what is an illusion. And that which is real is that which has a heart, a true heart, I mean. So I believe that, in a way, we could say that I believe it's difficult for me to speak about these things because I don't want to to say things that might sound, you know. Anyway, so let me see if I can describe what I'm sensing here. So it feels like, for example, okay, I'll just say it plain. So the people, the beings which have a true heart in them, they are going to become more and more real and more distinguishable, while any other human being and any other projection and illusion and, I don't know, simulated being is gonna start losing reality. So this reality from now on is gonna be a reality of the heart, and the beings of the heart are gonna to populate this reality from now on, because this is the reality of the heart, which we are getting back to. This is our natural reality. This is the true heaven. This is the true reality. This is our natural state. The heart is our natural state, and the heart is the only sense of perception. We don't need 5 senses of perception, or I don't know, all these disparate senses, like you have the eyes and then you have the ear and then you have the touch. No, it's like only one single sense of perception, the heart, and you can do everything with it. It's only one single sense of perception, because there is only one truth and only one single reality and objective truth. And that objective truth and that objective reality can be perceived with the heart, which is the fifth element, the quintessence, which sees everything together at once, as a whole. And this is the reality of the heart. This is what I feel like. After April the 8th onward, we've entered into this new reality of the heart. It was settled, but it's up to us in a way to unfold it somehow. It's like, yeah, for sure, there is a lot to do. For sure. And I have to record separately on the levels, and because not like some of us might have more to do and some of us might have less to do in this new reality right now, and but all of us, we have a role to play in it for sure. So we've entered the sacred time of the heart. We've entered the sacred reality of the heart. We've reached here the Alpha and Omega, the point zero. In a way, we could say, finally, in a way, it's like time already stopped. I already felt that. But time stopped on April the 8th. There is no more time now. We've entered no time. And in a way, we could say this is the singularity. We've entered no time since April the 8th, in my opinion. And yeah, timelines are converging, and it's gonna be the singularity in a way. But it's not gonna be like, it's gonna be something different than what it was imagined. That's the singularity. The singularity is the heart. It's just the quintessence. It's a multitude of expressions finally seen as the holistic, coherent, unified state that they are actually in. And yeah, this is when, we approach this point of singularity, which in my opinion already is unfolding since April the 8th. Um, it's like time, you know, past, future, present, memories, experiences, imaginations, predictions, all of these, they are melting together and welding together more and more. For example, it's like I had this experience even since 2 years ago where I would eat something and a certain taste reminded me of like images from dreams started to melt and come into this reality. And I had many times when I would stay in this state of presence, I would do a thing or an action in physical reality, and then all of a sudden an image or a experience from a dream would take over, and it's like I was half in the dream and half here. And then I would do another action, for example in physical reality, and the dream image would change, and then I would be in another dream but in this physical reality here. And then I would go through so many, like with part of my being I would be part of it here, but with another part of my being I would be in a dream or in a memory or in a, like, and these memories were not necessarily memories from the past. It's like memories from all over. You know, it's like there's not even a notion of time anymore. They're just experiences, and it's like I'm being in multiple experiences at once in a way. But it's just like 0.1%. Just don't think I'm having who knows what type of, but it's there. It's just like 0.1% or something. So this is why I'm saying that timelines are converging. Time has already stopped, in my opinion, on April the 8th. It's like just the singularity now unfolds more and more, and it's like our senses get adjusted as we adjust more and more to the heart, and that's the work in progress. Because it's a work in progress to allow the heart again to beat, the true heart to beat. Yeah, it's a work in progress to come back to the heart once again, for sure. And this is the work at hand for all real beings, all beings which have a true heart in them. This is the work of the next years ahead of us. But yeah, this was it. The marriage is done, and now it's like the true journey, in a way, has begun. This is the journey, and we are here together again. We are here together.